वेलकम टू द HR एलिवेट पॉडकास्ट नितिन जी। कैसे हैं आप?
Good, good, Jay. Thank you for inviting me, and I'm doing well. And what about you,
Most welcome.
sir? You're looking great. Good smile you have.
Thank you. I'm doing great too. So, for our audience, I'd like to introduce Nitin ji. Nitin ji has over 23 years of experience in HR vertical. He's currently serving as a CHRO and has been working in a senior leadership role for over 15 years. So, Nitin uh, as we start with this conversation, I'd like to get a glimpse into what made you get into HR world at first glance.
Uh, see, I started my career with the autonomous bodies like CII, and then I jumped into the Ministry of Defense after clearing my UPSC exams. So while working with the Ministry of Defense, I did some of the OD interventions, change management programs, and some of the training and development programs. And during that time, while delivering the programs, it always hit me that how I can see India as an developed country, right? So whatever the initiatives you take, it is related to product or service or one sector or another sector. But the heart of that goes with the development of the self and others, right? And which inspires me to get into HR. So I thought that how I can see India as an developed country. So for that, I need to develop myself, right? And developing
Mhm.
self will not be serving the purpose. So it's developing others also, right? By sharing, by caring, by adopting the new technology, learning from others, right? Whatever it is. So you need to have on a sharing platforms, either the knowledge sharing platforms or the learning sharing platform, gaining the new insights, right? In terms of what's happening in the other industries, how one industry is associated with the other, connected with the other industry, how the two industries, two individuals, two groups, right, two societies can be formed and for the gain of India. This encourages me to jump into HR, right? And I started my career in HR from training and OD guy, right? And then gradually I came into the hardcore HRs.
Okay. So, as you started with the training and OD and now into hardcore HR, how has your responsibilities, your tasks evolved over time as you changed verticals or as you grew into a more comprehensive side of HR and as you rose through the ranks?
So Nishant, one thing is there that whatever we do in HR, right, or in other functions, either it's accounts, manufacturing, logistics, supply chain management, right, the basics remain same, right? And
Okay.
whatsoever function we are working for, very important for an individual, irrespective of their level, to understand what business they are into, right? Now, specifically in HR, whatever the policies, practices, SOPs, or actions we do, it is in
Mhm.
relates to business and people. So we have nothing for ourselves, but it is for the community to serve or the stakeholders to serve, right? So how your policies are impacting the working culture of the organization and delivering the results what the business is looking for. That's very important. So when you say that how my journey or so far is and what kind of responsibilities has been added, it depends on the organization, the industry we are working for, right? So when I started my career way back in 1998, right?
Mhm.
Though I was not the HR guy, but on that time also the deliverables were be in the mind, right? So we need to see that how well, how fast we can deliver the results which is required by the organization, because whatsoever company you're working for, you need to
Mhm.
ensure one thing, that future is there for you and for others to be associated with. So we have done the trainings, we have done the change management programs, new policies, restructuring, redesigning of the organization, compensation policies, PMS, right? And as the new generations are coming in, right? So the
Hmm.
merger of thoughts is very, very important, right? Merger of aspirations is very, very important. Taking care of the
Agreed.
aspiration level of all individual, that's very important, right? So we need to see that what kind of a business we are into it, what is our organization philosophy, what are the core values and the principles of the organization, how it is going to impact my future business. So either it's on a recruitment way of working, right? How you hire people, how you treat your people, everything evolved, right? And then you learn from your past, right? You have some kind of an imaginations. You need to have a creativity in place, specifically in HR, right? You can't be strict to one. So how flexible you are, how flexible your policies are, how flexible your practices are. You can't be adamant nowadays, right? As you have an expiry date on medicines or the food items, same kind of an expiry date we need to have for our practices also. We need to have our, and if you are not liking the, so for example the chips, we have
Uh-huh.
different, earlier we have on a wafers, right?
Yeah, I
So same
remember.
kind of on a salt wafers will be serving for the years now. But now you have on a chips which is coming out, right? You have masala chips, you have achari chips, you have plain salted, you have crispy pudina. So that kind of an some kind of an things you need to opt in your HR practices also. So
Okay, that's
I
interesting.
must say that recruitment, maybe the recruitment now the people call it talent acquisition, right? So whatever name you will give, you need to understand the organization philosophy, the core values of the organization, and then you need to understand what best is available in the market for you without increasing the cost. So I think the one of the factor which playing on a very vital role is the cost, right? Today,
Yeah.
many of the companies, right, and many of the senior professionals, and specifically with the consultants coming in, right, we have control C,
Yes.
control V, and then we have a rat race, right? So,
True. Yes.
being a responsible leader in your own field, one need not to be part of control C, control V, and the rat race. So that is my mantra, that you understand your organization first. You understand the organization philosophy, core values, employee value propositions you need to create, cost, what kind of budgets you have, right? Then frame your policies and the practices, right? And most
Okay.
important is how you can have more and more engagement while designing or developing these kind of policies or practices. Then the
Okay.
implementation of these things will be very, very high. So for me, understand your business, understand your people, and then start designing and developing your policies or practices.
That's quite interesting. So, जब आपने शुरू किया, you mentioned that HR as a function, just like every other function in a business, should align with business goals. That is a very profound and important statement. When we were having a conversation over phone a few hours ago, you had put out the same statement, and it struck a chord in my mind. It was like, yes, people need to understand HR as a function is again a business function, and just like every other role, its goal is to align with the business goals. What are the challenges that you faced as you got into new organization over time, as you have shifted through multiple organizations? What were the challenges that you faced with this specific aspect of alignment of HR goals and business goals?
Okay. So first and foremost, there is no HR goal for me,
Okay.
right? My every goal is aligned to business goal. That's my personal mantra, professional mantra, right? Because what, as I said, that whatever policies, practices, right, or the automation, digitization we are doing, that is we are doing for the organization, not for HR, for the career growth of the people, for the business growth of the business of the organization, right? So there is
Mm-hmm.
nothing for me or for HR department. We as an employee also need to grow within the organization, being into HR also. I also love to participate in the business growth, right? So if somewhere we have a quality lacks, right? Either it's a
Right.
process quality or it's a product quality. So
Mm-hmm.
somewhere I need to own that accountability, that what I can do to improve that quality, either in the process or in the product, right? Either in inline or the final product. So you need to involve with the business. When you said what are the challenges, first of the challenge what I face even today also,
Mm-hmm.
my business head, my CEOs, my president, my manufacturing head, my sales head, or my account head, they all feel that they know the business better than you, right? So first of all, my always say to them is, boss, it is not that who knows better, right?
Mm-hmm.
I
Okay.
never want to say the saying that I'm better than you. But
G.
what I'm trying to say, that please take my view as it may help you. So I'm not a challenge to you, right? So don't consider me as a challenge. Consider me as a partner, right? As
Uh-huh.
part of your team. So first and foremost, you need to build that kind of a trust and credibility in this system that you're part of team. You're not challenged to them. Yes, this is the foremost challenge within the organization, right? When you're working with the organization, people have their own experiences, right? And they feel that they know the organization better than you. Somewhere you go in the organization, they says, I'm the first employee who has
Yeah.
joined this organization. I have given my years to the organization. We traveled in a bus or scooter or three-wheeler, right? Or walk down to mile to earn the first level of sale or first level of service.
Yeah.
Now, expecting that kind of a thing from today's generation is another challenge within the organization,
True. Yes.
right? So, if you have traveled, right, in a bus
Mm-hmm.
or you have walked down for a mile
Yes.
because of the lack of resources or because of the whatever this scenario it was, right? But if you
Right.
want today's generation, right, or whosoever is newcomer is coming up, right, of the mid age also, and you want him to or her to perform like that, is something which we are expecting unexpected,
Totally. Yes.
right? So you need to understand that today's generation is very different from last 10 years now. Scenario has changed a lot. Everything is on click now. You need to order
Yes.
Red Bull, you can click, right? That's energy drink,
True.
right?
Yeah.
If you need to order movie ticket, you on click. If you want to transfer money, it's on click, right? If you order something new gadget, it's on click. So everything is click. Whereas in my age, we have stand on lines, right? Waited for our turn to come up, either for buying on a bus ticket or a train ticket or a movie ticket, right?
Right.
We waited for our dinners also. In some restaurants, you have to wait for your turn to come on, right? Because it's heavy rush some days, right? And then you have to wait for your turn, right, to get your food. But today's generation need not to see all these things. So that kind of a mindset we need to work on, right? And if as a leader we don't understand that the when the consumer behavior is changing, so the employee behavior is also going to change. It is not going to be remain same. Same stand for our vendors, same stand for our dealers also, right? They
Okay.
want fast returns, right? They can't
Right.
wait for it, right? Earlier I remember the days when you book some of the product, you have to wait for 5 months, 6 months. Now some of the companies have started this again, though they have the capacity, I know, but I will not name any company here. right? Especially in the automotive, now we see that some of the vehicles are coming with the waiting period of 9 months, 8 months. I don't
Yes.
know what they are doing it, right? Something wrong with their capacity planning or production planning. But then, why you want people to wait for you? And are you trying to create something which is not required,
False
right?
scarcity.
So same kind of an things stand for employees also. Your
Okay.
employees will not work, right? Today people talk about, in some of the time I face this challenge, people says that we need people within 30 days time, 40 days time replacement, right? But are you relieving your guys in a 40-30 days, right? So we need to ask many questions within. Some of the challenges I face that we want everything to be automized, but do we have capabilities within this system to take care that kind of an automation or digitization or not? Do we have that kind of an budgets in place that it will not hamper our futuristic business plan, right? So whatever the challenges we have, it's very important that we should sit within the that group, understand those kind of challenges and the way out. Also we need to involve the people involved into it in a day-to-day operation. Until and unless you will not involve people who are involved into day-to-day operation, you will not able to make the strategy which is best fit. Second, once you make this strategy, you can't sit for an a long on it. So you need to have a short-term strategy, you need to have a mid-term strategy, you need to have a long-term strategy. So one of the
Okay.
challenge which I face is this, that somewhere we mix strategy with the actionable things, operational thing, right?
Okay.
The business strategy can't be mixed with the operational strategy. It has to be in line and aligned, but need to have a separate operational strategies to achieve the business strategy goal. So strategic goals can be achieved if you have the right kind of an operational strategic action behind it. So one has to work on those kind of things.
Uh,
Am I audible?
yes, you're audible now. Okay.
Yeah. So this was this these are the challenges. So first and foremost, engaging the leadership and the management,
Okay.
that you are a part of team. You are not
Mhm.
challenged to them. You are not getting
So,
into their business. First
so
challenge is this.
I lost you at when you mentioned about we should integrate the operational strategy, business strategy, and the HR policies.
Right. This is most important. And when you do that, so you will try to tell the people in the leadership board or the management that, boss, we are here to understand the business, to run the business, to develop the business, to gain the business, and to create the futuristic business. Right. Now for that, you need to have a right kind of people in place. You need to have
Okay.
a right kind of a compensation is place, right kind of a total rewards policy in the place, total workplace infra and the mannerism is in place, well-being of the employees, right? That has to create to attract more. When you do these kind of things, you become the employer brand, right? And people get attracted to brand. Are you the one kind of an now I think that we need to talk about the employer as an influencer also, as we have a YouTube influencer, social media influencer. So are your people, whosoever the stakeholder of the organization, are they the employer influencer or not? So do we have that kind of an employer influencer or not? Once you are that kind of an employer influencers within the organization, hopefully you will get your manpower, dealer, vendors, customers from that base itself.
Okay, so just like we have social media influencers and who work with customer persona or consumer persona, now these are business influencers, business brands, and they work with the employee persona.
Absolutely. Why only employee persona? Why not an all stakeholder persona?
Okay.
Right? And it should be an employer. So if I am the employer, there are the vendors associated to me. There are the
Mm-hmm.
dealers associated with me, right? There are the
Right.
contractors associated with me. If they are going to talk about you, right,
Right.
obviously you will get in a best mileage within the organization and outside
Totally.
the organization. If some labor department is talking great about you, if PF department talks great about you, so which
Mm-hmm.
means that the minimum compliance you have in place,
Totally. Yes.
right? If some hospital or the medical facilities are talking about you, it means you are taking care of the well-being of the employees,
Yeah.
right?
True.
If you are having an vendors who are talking about you, that means that you are the great paymasters, right? You have a great quality of the product, you have a great service of the product. So I think you need to create an employer influencers within the system, which will give you the boost in your business.
Okay. That's amazing. That's an amazing perspective. And adding to it your previous perspective, key policies should be changed as frequently as employees and as people are changing over time. As you mentioned, how much people and employee persona has changed in last 10 years. And one thing was really interesting from your previous section was that we should involve employees as we are designing the policies, get them involved during the designing process and implementation process. It increases the adaptability.
Absolutely.
That's quite interesting. That's very interesting, as we have seen the similar process during product design and marketing activities.
Right.
So implementing this in HR is quite interesting.
And when I say that, you need not to have an always need to have an a one-to-one interaction you can do when you are walking on a shop floor, or when you are actually in a field with your
Mhm.
sales officer, with your area sales manager, zonal head. Try to understand how they behave in a while they are traveling or meeting the customers, meeting the dealer, right? How they are behaving, what kind of difficulties they uh, encounter, right? Likewise, you can move to the shop floor, right? What the workers are doing, how they are behaving while working, right? Observe those things, note down those things, right? Uh, Carry out one-to-one talk on the shop floor itself, right? Feel that what they are, right? Have a one-to-one connection with them, give them the space where they can open up their mind, right? They can share their views, right? Ask them some kind of an open things, like what kind of changes they would like to see within the organization, right? What kind of challenges they face when they come to the organization, right? What their family aspect from the organization, right? When they meet outside people, what they talk about your organization, because when you are not uh, within the organization, when you go out, there are the groups where you talk about your company, where you talk about
Yes.
your work culture, where you talk about what's going on within the organization. If those things can be taken into account, right, your policies or practices uh, can be modified, can be reviewed for making the changes. And trust me, I did that, right? In one
Okay.
of the organization, we started the Saturday off, one Saturday off in a month. We have changed the office timings also. We have changed the career growth plan, right? The policy
Okay.
within the organization for the different category of the employees, right? Then we have revisited that policy within the 3 months, and how the functional and the educational expertise can be different. So you can revisit those things, you can rework on those things, right? And there is no need to call for a town hall and all kind of other things, right? Suggestion box, it may work, right?
Okay.
But more important that you need to involve yourself in person with these people. You need to understand their pain. So empathy has to be there, right?
Okay.
To understand what kind of challenges they are facing in, and what will be the best way without increasing the cost. I may again and again focus on the cost, right? Because
Yes.
as a customer, I don't want to pay higher rates. So it's my duty to make, produce, and serve which is into the reach of my customer.
Okay. So customer demand helps design the business goals then impact HR practices directly and
Absolutely
indirectly.
right.
Okay. So as you mentioned about employees' health and well-being, and as we are seeing the current, uh, you may say, uptrend of mental health challenges that are coming out. They have always been there, but it's now coming out to a higher extent. So has how have you approached this challenge for your employees?
Okay, so first of all, as you already said, that it's always there, right?
Yes.
Uh, but we get fascinated with some of the things, right? And it's an industry way of working, right? So in India earlier it was on a hatchback, then sedan, now it's SUV, right? Uh, and then we are into rat race also. So first and foremost, we are not into any rat race, right? So far for us, employee well-being, wellness, health, right? These are the matters which has to be taken care across the year, right? 24 into 7, 365. So
True.
first and foremost for us, engage the employees with the work, right? With the positive gossips also, right? So if you are involved with the number of things, right, which are resulting into something or good for them, good for their family, good for the organization, then usually you don't get into the negative aspects of the mental illness or the physical illness, right? It happens, mental illness and physical illness happen when you are actually disengaged or engaged into the wrong activities, the wrong gossip, right? Talking here and there, right? So for that, first and foremost, as an HR, I work on my manpower planning and budget. So
Okay.
if trend is there that we need to have 10 manpowers in one of these sections, we
Mhm.
see, do we actually require 10 manpower or not, or we require 12 or 8.
Okay.
So we do lot of analytics, right? That what are the exact numbers of manpower will be required in that particular section, right? In a particular shift. Because if you have a more number of manpower, then they have a lot of time within them to
Mhm.
talk about here and there things, right?
Right.
And then if you have a less manpower also, it will have a fatigue, right? Loss of quality. You have an destructions, right?
Mhm. Okay.
Damages will be there, right? And n number of damages can be there. Destructions n number can be destructions can happen there. So you need to have a right kind of a manpower, right?
Okay.
Which can give
I'm
you the optimal results in terms of production or service, right?
okay.
Then you have
Okay.
to see the lean period also and the process period also.
True.
So
Yes.
this is the one thing which you need to do first of all, engaging. And then we are fortunate enough that today we have lot of things available in that term. So we do the yoga sessions, right?
Right.
We call the people from the Ayurveda, naturopathy, acupressure, right? In the company where I work for, right, we have the in-house dispensaries also, where we have an MBBS doctors to take care of that, and we encourage people for their health checkup also, right? So now today you have many of the companies involved in the health checkup of the employee, so you can always arrange those kind of a health checkup within the organization in the gap of 6 months or a 1 year, right? Encouraging people for donate blood or donate organs, having a tie up with those kind of an organization, engaging them into the other than the work, right, where their interest lies, right? Either it can be teaching in the schools, right, participating in the sports activities, right, participating in the environmental activities, right? So
Okay.
number of activities depends where you are working, in what kind of a geography you are into, what are their social causes, right? So there
Okay.
are the people and there are the groups within the organization who love to be part of the other communities also, other groups also. Either you are the
Yes.
environmental group, cycling group, right, sports group. So you need to see the interest, you need to create that kind of a group, and then HR is not a custodian of those things. Don't be a custodian of. Let
Okay.
people will run those show. They will manage their own things. Sometimes you go as an invitee there or as a participant there, but don't go as
Okay.
an organizer there. That's my only advice, because I'm doing it right.
Uh,
So
yeah.
if somebody is CSR team, I'm not on a organizer part, right? So for
Mhm.
all kind of on a CSR, even the sports, recreational activities, one or two member, whosoever is interested in that kind of an activity in HR, so that person can be part of that organizing team. If you have that kind of a time, that much time with you, and you can devote, right, your interest to be there. As I believe in interacting people, right?
Hmm.
So I'm the
Yeah.
part of organizing the family get-togethers or the family interactions, right? So that
Okay.
is more where I am keen to, right?
Okay.
I love to do some kind of play some kind of a sports also, right? But only as a participant, not as an organizer, right? Because I
Okay.
can't devote that much time. So whatever game I play or I don't know to how to play, still I will love to participate in that to learn that game, right? So
Wow.
you need to engage people with work, right?
Hmm.
I'm not
Got it.
necessarily saying with work means that only the business work, but wherever they feel that they can contribute more, and when they feel that they are contributing other than their workplace, right? So they will
Right.
become your very critical and crucial part, right? And they feel
Okay.
they belong to you and you belong to them. Very
Wow.
important, until and unless as an individual they don't feel the follower are there or somebody is also belonging them, somebody is chasing them, irrespective of their level, right? I know on my worker side I have some of the great player of cricket, volleyball, kabaddi, right? So these kind of people, when they actually start teaching you, they feel the ownership and accountability, and from there those kind of learning goes to the shop floor or to the field, right, where they show
Okay.
their leadership skills, right, engage their own new bosses also,
Wow. Okay.
right, कि सर मैं आपको सिखाता हूँ कैसे करते हैं, right, or
Wow.
they start talking about it, right? So from there you get the knowledge. So very important when you talk about health, wellness, well-being, understand where their interest lies. If somebody having a headache, you can't treat them with the stomach medicine,
Yeah.
right? So understand this basics, right? If your basics are in place, intent is right, content is right, uh, so you need not to worry about the health and wellness. And something or other things happen in the organization, so you need to see that how you can ensure that it will not get repeated.
Okay. So, keeping them engaged, allowing them opportunity to feel fulfilled, whether it is through recreational activities, positive gossip, and engagement activities, and allowing them to take part in leadership. with work and outside work, to
Absolutely.
build that kind of nature and characteristic in person.
Right.
And that's quite profound. And it's this long term vision that enables, bringing together the entire group.
So, see, if I rightly understood your question, that when you talk about long-term vision, everybody is looking for growth and development, right?
True.
So how you engage them, and when they are engaged and they feel that they are growing, right? Sometimes hierarchical growth is not required actually, right? Uh,
Okay.
so other than the
Including.
hierarchical growth, there is a term called career growth, right?
Yes.
So we are very fascinated with our hierarchical growth. I'm VP, I'm CHRO, right? I'm CXO level person. It's actually not required. I have seen number of, with due regards to all of them, right, that they have spent 30, 35 years at the leadership board. But today, again, they can't take any kind of a decision at their own, right? And
Okay.
when you actually start discussing the thing, they says we need to ask management. And who is management? You are the management here, right?
Yeah.
So these kind of an excuses where I think we should not give. We need to take fire on us, right? And we need to
Right.
ensure growth for all, development of for all, right? It may not be that some every time you need to give hikes or the increments or the new designation or redesignate someone, right? People love it, right? Because everybody needs to run the family or self life, right? But again, there are the other ways also. I still remember that in one of my organization, people used to increase the rate. I have decreased the rate, right? But still,
Okay.
my whole of the team was very very happy, and they were with me. And today also they called me and says, "Sir, कुछ धंधा दिला दीजिए, right? Give us some
Wow.
business." Right, you need to see that you are not actually reducing the overall payout to them. You are reducing the rate. I have seen number of people talk about that going for a manpower consultants, right, or other
Yes.
consultants. If you
Yes.
have your inner capabilities, right, then first please explore that, then put the burden on an organization of a consultant in terms of any consultant, either it's for our recruitment purposes or OD purposes or the financial purposes or the sales purposes. First understand the internal capabilities and then see that where you can and why you need them, what they can contribute. Because I have seen in
Okay.
my training programs also, I have delivered a number of training programs. I have trained over 10,000 people. After the training program, people says ये तो मुझे पता था. Now the main part is that how will you implement your plans, your strategies, your actions, right? That's very
Right.
important. So how part we need to really work on, what is to be done, what is required to be taken care of, and why it is to be, everybody knows, right? But the how part is much difficult and it take times. It
Very true.
take time,
Yes.
and in today's business scenario you don't have a time. Everybody wants to be a
Yeah.
10,000 crore company within a year.
That's so true. Yeah.
So do
That's
you have that kind of a capabilities or not, that you have to say.
so. There in this excerpt, I could distill two very profound life lessons, I'd say. One is when you get into management role directly, or an assigned role or something you have assumed, you need to learn to make decisions and take fire on yourself. At times, it might not even be your mistake, but you have to take fire to shield your team from it. And this one, that first explore what's within you, whether you can do it. And a lot of times, you might not know whether you know how to do it or not, but it's like you know what needs to be done, but the step by step process of it is what takes most people by surprise. And at times it is filled with some, you know, pits and falls where you have stumbled and stopped and have to rethink on your next steps.
Absolutely.
So,
See, when I
with,
said the thing that you need to take fire, right? You
Mhm.
have something. So there is a solution also.
Okay.
Align people, get aligned. Convince people or get convinced. Collaborate with people, right? Or
Hmm.
hire expert,
Okay.
right? So this is a solution
Now,
because
now you have shared the what needs to be done, align or get aligned. Now the how part is something a person needs to explore by themselves, given on their specific situation.
absolutely. See, you don't have a solution to everything, right?
Totally.
But then see, there are the two ways, Nishan. You look at the problem and then you start resolving it. Don't resolve the problem.
Okay.
Solve the reasons of the problem. शक्ति ने लिया अवतार तो कोई कारण होगा, माँ हो गई सिंह सवार तो कोई कारण होगा.
बिल्कुल.
तो कारण का निवारण होता है. Reasons has a solution. Problem has no solution.
Okay.
Problem has reasons and reasons has solution. So work on the solution of the reasons. Problem will automatically get resolved. आदमी फिसल के गिर रहा है,
हाँ जी.
उसको ट्रीटमेंट करा दो. दिस इज नॉट द सोल्यूशन. पानी क्यों गिर रहा है वहां पे सोल्यूशन मिल जाएगा तो आदमी गिरना बंद हो जाएगा.
समझा.
Person will not fall if there is not on a wet floor. So you
Totally.
have to work on the reasons of the wet floor.
Okay.
But what
Attack
you
it
do,
at the root.
आदमी गिरा है उसको ट्रीटमेंट करा दो. Send him for on a medical treatment. That's not on a solution at all. Right?
Got
So get
it.
in. Once you identify the problem, that's okay. Problem, you need not to identify the problem. Problem is visible. I don't know who said that identify the problem, right? But problem is visible. Identify the reasons of the problem. Work on the reason why it is happening. Work on the solutions of those reasons. Problem will never arise.
वाह, ये चीज मैं स्पेसिफिक थ्री पॉइंटर्स में लिखने वाला हूँ अलग से.
Thank you.
This is the essence of any approach to problem resolution. Identify the root cause and then attack on that. जब पेड़ की जड़ मर जाएगी तो ऊपर से तो कुछ भी नहीं बचेगा.
Absolutely. अब आपने उसको रूट कॉज का है, अब रूट में है कॉज नहीं है तो मतलब जरूरी नहीं है रूट तक जाना है. Right. So,
ओके.
so again, I'm saying,
जी.
so I'm not playing with the jargons here, right? Because
बिल्कुल.
I'm very, very bad in jargons, right? I'm a simple man, right? So, I think, again, I'm not saying this thing for saying we need to have everything at a basic which can be understood by the layman itself. Now, many companies give operator manuals and the user manual,
Yes.
right? But 90% of the things used by the non-engineers,
True.
right?
Yes.
So make it so simple that somebody can use. I don't know how many times somebody has read the bike's operator manual or the speaker operator manual that too, or user manual, right? So if you are going to make it that big in a different language with such a small font, it is of no use. But it's a mandatory clause. That is the reason we are doing it. Right? So work on your senses
True.
also. Do something sensible. Right? I still remember somebody told me that I never seen you in a serious mood while working. I said
Okay.
because serious people usually been seen into ICU. Only sensible people required on the floor, right? So are you sensible enough or you're serious enough, right? So if you're sensible, you need not to get serious about anything, right? So there are the sensible situations. If it's in a war situation, also it's a sensible situation. It's not in a serious situation. Serious situation handled by somebody else, right? Only sensible situations can be handled by you sensibly, right? So that's my mantra.
Okay. Wow, that's a very profound one. लाइफ में सीरियस नहीं होना, सेंसिबल रहना.
सीरियस होके तो कोई और ही देखेगा फिर.
बिल्कुल.
I think
Heck,
Gita's Updesh comes in, right, with the
जी.
sensibleness, not with the seriousness,
टोटली, हाँ जी.
right? So the way it has to be done, it has to be done, right? So this is the way I look into the Asia, right?
बिल्कुल, दिस इज अ वेरी वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग टेक. ये देखा है, कई बार आप सीरियस ज़्यादा हो जाते हैं तो लाइफ का मज़ा कम हो जाता है. एंड एज एचआर यू हैव टू डील विद पीपल्स लाइव्स. You have the highest impact on people's lives at all times.
No, I'm not playing or I'm not responsible for somebody else's life. That as I'm not see my taking care of my life, right? And I'm doing it correctly or appropriately. I'm not sure about it. So I can't take the responsibility, accountability of somebody else's life. But yes, I can do whatever best I can do to make someone's life, right? If I'm able to add value in someone else's life, right? Either he is my employee, he is my relative, he is my vendor, he is my stockist, he is my dealer, whosoever is coming in way of my life, right?
Mhm.
That person should value me and I should able to give some value, add some kind of a value in his life. Then the purpose of my ultimate vision that I want to see India as a developed country, that will be fulfilled.
Totally.
So
Yes.
that's the way of my life.
Great. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Nitinji, for your time and your valuable insights. It has
Thank you,
been
Nitin.
really insightful. Wow, we are almost nearing a 1 hour mark.
Thank you, thank you,
It's been so engaging. Thanks a lot.
thank you for inviting me and looking forward to it, right? More interaction
बिल्कुल.
with you, right? Thank you, thank you.